Yo, everyone. The Yonko Table is back in session, and we are here to talk about some anime. Specifically, we're here to talk about Demon Slayer, episode 6. We are in the Entertainment District arc, and I guess you could put in quotation marks. It's essentially season 2, but the animation studio is dividing it up into arcs. So officially, it's Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, and we're on episode 6 of this arc, and shit's getting crazy in the episode. But before we deep dive for this week's episode, with me as always is fellow Yonko GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, I see you repping our girl Nezuko in your background.
Yes, I'm repping Nezuko because she's probably, if not maybe my favorite character, just because when you forget she's even a character, she comes in and does some really cool shit, and you are reminded that Nezuko is, OP, and so I'm repping Nezuko. I am.
That's right. She caught us by surprise this week, so we'll see what she does. We're gonna dissect everything about what happened in this episode, and the supernovas this week being featured at the Yonko Table are. All right, so let's get into it. I know we didn't do a Yonko Table podcast for episodes 1 through 5. So I guess this is probably going to focus on episode 6. But what did you guys think about episodes 1 through 5, just as the arc, starting off, and what the synopsis is and so on?
You go ahead, Toasty.
Thanks. I'll just say for me, it's one of those things I really hate because, technically it's not the beginning of season 2 because the Mugen Train was supposed to be the beginning of season 2. But since I did not watch the Mugen Train episode, for me, season 2 started at the Entertainment District. And the first couple episodes is those episodes after a big battle where there's nothing going on. So for the first half of the first episode, I remember being extremely bored. Nothing was going on. It was just them talking, dealing with the death of Rengoku, training. So I wasn't really hyped. And even for the current villain, I didn't care who it was until they actually...
Wait, the current villain? What do you mean?
The current demon that they're trying to get. The current arc villain, which is the lady.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, because every arc has its own villain in a way. Yes, you have the main Orochimaru villain running around, but you have his... his goons causing trouble left and right. For her, I wasn't really hyped because I feel like she was not, I feel like she wasn't shown enough early on where I didn't see what she was doing. I feel like with the previous demons, we had more information about them. I could be wrong, but so far for this demon, I don't know anything about her up until now.
Well, that's the thing with the other arcs, though. They kind of did the same thing. They never really alluded to the demons until they appear in the arc. They kind of just appear, and then the squad fights them, and then Tanjiro has that little one-on-one with them once he defeats them, like, oh, you're just a misunderstood person. You were a human once. And then we move on to the next arc, which is a new demon.
Yeah.
So I'm not too bothered by her just appearing now, because kind of like in the first season, we know there's an Akatsuki type of group, I think there's an official name, the 12 Kozuki. Is that what it is? The 12.
I know he killed a couple of them, so there's
12 Kizuki. Yeah,
there's no way there's 12 anymore.
Yeah, I remember there because there was the upper 6 and the lower 6, and the lower 6 were the garbage one.
Yeah, he killed the lower 6, except for one. Or
was
which
it just one?
Because it was the guy from the train.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He was the one, or
he wasn't impressed by their work.
Exactly, and I guess part of the fault that I have is that the previous season, I watched it all at once. There was no break in between the week.
Yeah,
I could stop when I wanted because I wasn't watching it weekly, so I didn't feel the slowness of the show the same way I'm feeling now.
I guess because I know there's a bit of whiplash in regards to this season because they had the Mugen Train movie, right? And most Demon Slayer fans watched it. It was a fantastic movie. Toasty's repping Rengoku in the background for good reason. But I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the name of the animation studio is, but I don't know why they chose to pull a Dragon Ball Super and adapt the movie into the anime. So now you have the anime Mugen Train arc, and most people skip that. I skipped it. I'm not. At some point I'll watch it again, but for now I'm not. I saw the movie. I know what happens.
It could be for kids that couldn't afford to go to the movies. There's that.
But they can afford to pay a subscription for Demon Slayer.
It's on Hulu, so most families nowadays have Hulu. It's $5 a month, so the average American have Hulu at least on their subscription list. I'm sure if we go down the line for us, most of us have either 3 or 4 subscriptions. So,
like more like 6 for some people.
I know, right?
Well, Grandmaster, what did you think about the Entertainment District arc so far? Are you about it? Kind of on the fence?
Yeah, I'm
really
more
kicked off.
I'm more on the fence just because it's like well, one, yeah, I totally skipped the Mugen Train bit. I was like, if I watch this, I will have wasted that money that I purchased the movie ticket for. So I'm like, I don't care about any new stuff added. I don't care. I'm gonna get my money's worth having watched that movie. So I skipped that part. And then I didn't even know when the new episode started because I didn't know how many episodes they were doing the Mugen Train. So I binged it all today. But I really like the first episode where it was like talking to Rengoku's father.
I like that.
And his brother. Because that's like well, one, we learned that he's a former Hashira. So it's actually been in his family. You learn about sun breathing, where they're like, sun breathing? Oh, all the other forms are derived from sun breathing. You're a sun breather. And we're peeling back, the mythos, and it looks like we're learning more about Tanjiro's father, who I imagine this is who they're alluding to a lot.
In those images?
Yeah, in those images. Okay. And then he said, it was prophesied some dude with a scar or like a birthmark on his head would be the one. And then we even got that flashback where it looked like Muzan was facing Tanjiro's father. So I like learning that bit of stuff and pulling back the mythos. But when you actually get to the entertainment arc, like the district or whatever it's called, not much happens.
But it's funny.
I mean, I guess it's funny.
Is, but again, nothing happens.
Right.
That's the issue. It was 2 to 3 episodes of them just staying there.
Yes.
And trying to figure out what the demon was. But even if the character themselves cannot see the demon, I would have loved if the viewers themselves were able to see what the demon was up to.
Right. Like, kind of just give that dramatic irony.
Yes, because we alluded that some of the other girls, like I know one of the all-round, I think they call them, the high-end hostesses, the one with the 2 girls next to her that wanted to run away. I thought she was one of the villains because I thought she was way too nice, but turned out she's just a regular character. And I'm like, okay, you wasted a couple episodes on this random hostess that wants to run away with a new lover that she has, and we're never going to see her again. What's the point?
Right. And if they were trying to build a mystery around who it wasn't much of a mystery at all.
They made it so obvious who it was.
Right. Yeah. And you gotta be a dummy not to know this.
The question is, how many people are there? You already knew who it was. You're like, okay, we know it's at least one person. Is it those other 2 also?
Is it the one with the green ominous eyes that's acting evil? Or
well, yeah, when she punched the little girl, or like was grabbing the little girl by the ear and her ear was bleeding.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. And I don't know if they had revealed it before or after that scene, but the moment, like Zenitsu was like, can you stop hurting her, and grabbed her, and then she smacked the crap out of him. Again, I can't remember if they revealed it was her before or after that scene, but it was clearly you knew that was so ominous.
It's her. It's her at that point.
Right, right. So yeah, I guess the build up to the action was pretty weak, and that's my thing about Demon Slayer, is like they're kind of doing that whole villain of the week, and it's like, you know, oh, it's this villain of the week. This is what they can do. This is what they've been doing to the town. Here's the Hashira that's gonna help our three main protagonists, and let's see how they get along with the Hashira. So it's like this. It's like the stories and the arcs themselves are not that, like, I guess, grappling, but it's the character interactions that how they move forward are going to affect the overall story. Because what's his name? Uzui?
Uzui or Tengen.
Uzui, right.
Yeah.
Moving forward, it's going to be like, how is he going to come back into the fold later on? Is he going to help them train further? Or, you know, is it just going to be kind of one and done? I mean, I hope Hashiras don't lose every arc, you know.
We can't have that every arc.
You see, this is my issue with it also. They need to establish the power scale of this show. Like, it feel like sometimes the villain are way more powerful than the Ashira, and other time you feel like the villain is barely keeping up on an amateur, which is the main character. How are you ranked 6?
Are you talking about right now?
Yes, the girl.
Okay.
She's ranked 6 out of all of the female demons.
I'm gonna address that.
She's ranked 6. She's ranked 6. The previous villain with the red hair, I can't remember what his rank was, but
he was upper.
He was 3. He was 3.
He was 3? Okay, so there's only 3 ranks difference. It should not be that big of a major gap.
It could be.
Even if it could be, like, she still is considered to be number 6 out of all of the demons. And I guess metropolitan Japan or Tokyo, whatever the hell this show takes place in. Like, she's number 6 out of all of the demons. Yet, the main character, who has trained for like a year or 2 at most at this point, is able to keep up with her. But an Ashira, who came from a family of Ashira, who trained all of his life to become an Ashira, lost to a demon.
My thing to this,
come on, like,
and it's more so a criticism to Demon Slayer as a whole, because I do like Demon Slayer. I love Demon Slayer. I love the characters. I love the action and everything. Right. But at the same time, Demon Slayer's plot is overall pretty predictable. Even its lore, in a way, is kind of predictable. It goes into that typical shonen trope where I think I even talked about it with you before, Toasty, where like I was saying like, oh man, watch, I bet you Tanjiro, because for all we knew up until this point, Tanjiro is kind of like a rags to riches type of character. Like, he started from the bottom, he's a nobody, and he trained his way through hard work to get where he's at right now. But as with most, you know, shonen type stories, there's probably going to be some revelation at some point saying, oh, he's actually from a long line of descendants of these OP
here we
people.
Go.
Not just OP people, the original demon hunters.
The original, like the ones who made all the dances, all the sword dances, or at least the original sword dance that the other sword dances derived from. And then you have a character like Tanjiro coming in, all of a sudden using that technique, even though he's used it before, but now he's like super angry and he's got like a curse mark thing going on.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I don't know what that was.
I'm like,
I laugh,
okay.
Man.
I'm like, okay, this is what Demon Slayer to me is like a New York style pizza. It's really good, but it's nothing special. It's nothing crazy. You could have better. You could have better foods. But New York style pizza, the good one, is still pretty damn good. It's still delicious, but
it's not special.
It's just pizza at the end of the day.
Well, funny enough that you are making this comparison, because, you know, I feel the big appeal of Demon Slayer is the animation and the fluidity and the action sequences. And yet, at the end of the day, you know, you could be doing a fire breathing technique and fire stance. There's no actual fire there. There's no actual water there at all.
I hate
And
that the author said
so
that.
it's like in the world of the characters in the show, like if we were in the show, we would just be seeing people moving the
Swing
sword
swords.
and whatnot.
I'm just gonna pretend the author never said that, and that's not what she meant. There was a loss in translation, or maybe she hit her head. All we know. Yeah.
She hit her head before that interview.
Yeah.
You're right.
It makes no sense.
But I mean, I guess for the arc itself, you guys are right. It's nothing like crazy going on for the most part. But I do like the interactions with the characters. Like I love Tanjiro.
That's their selling point. Yes.
Right. Like Inosuke, I like how Inosuke is just always charging forward. He's always, impressed by like the world around him, and he's the dunce of the group, even though they're all dunces in their own way.
Right.
But Inosuke is like the cream of the crop in that regard.
Yeah, he's an idiot, always walking off.
Zenitsu walks off too.
Well, Zenitsu is he's not that as bad as other anime characters, but he's the quintessential perv of the group.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Tanjiro's just such a freaking goody two shoes,
He's pure-hearted.
He's trying to lie to the girl.
It pisses me off. Nobody is that nice.
It's like between him and Deku. It's like between him and Deku in terms of niceties.
I really hate that trope. Anybody that's that nice, you're hiding something in this closet. There's nobody that nice. I'd rather deal with somebody that cussed me out in front of my face than somebody that's always nice. Because I'm like, yo, nobody's that nice. You have some ulterior motive.
Well, see, that's what bothers me about his niceties is when, if you're in a life and death battle for your life, please don't have a conscience and your moral compass start twirling as soon as you're about to make this kill.
Which he does all the time.
Which he does all the time, right?
Why did you kill those people? Didn't they deserve to live? I mean, my man, she's a demon. The hell?
It's too late for questions.
We can debate. We can discuss. We can talk this out. No, that's hilarious. But I mean, hey, we're still here watching Demon Slayer. At the end of the day, it's just funny.
It's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. Yeah, it's funny just pointing these things out. What do you guys think of Tengen Uzui, the sound Hashira? I know he hasn't really done.
He's done one thing. I think he put his ear to the ground. Or no, he was jumping on the roofs. And he heard the battle, and then he got closer, and then he's like, "Oh, it's underground."
Yeah. Okay.
That was only times, and then he just, he went and ripped up the waist belt,
the waistband, yeah.
Right, but Inosuke was doing just fine, and Zenitsu woke up, and they were handling it.
I think they could have taken care of it. Maybe.
Right. They were taking care of it. So I need him to maybe go up against this girl, which, yes, when we talk about the power scale, if Rengoku could put up a decent fight against a level 3, this girl should be nothing for Tengen.
Right.
But we will see.
He should honestly obliterate her.
Right. That's the thing. I feel like they're not going to end it like this. Like, there has to be some other person there. It cannot be one villain. Because that girl's already getting bodied by Nezuko. Like, what is she gonna do now that an actual Ashira is there?
Like, right. And
she made a point of saying, "Oh, Nezuko is supposed to be equivalent to a high tier demon," and she was shaking. So,
which is crazy. I'm sorry. Like, again, it's a typical shonen like type of thing, like to have like a power boost or a power scaling thing like this. But I'm sitting here thinking, this bitch couldn't handle regular demons. Like, she would get cut up and beaten by other people, but now she's 1v1ing an upper 6 and making her tremble and be afraid. I don't know.
Nezuko is the character who has always had the most potential, because at the end of the day,
she's the Gohan of the series.
At the end of the day, she is what he said, one of 2 demons to resist him, right? Or is she the only one? Yeah, Muzan said that.
No, she has to be 2 because the other lady,
Right. The other lady. Okay, right. You're
yeah,
right.
the other lady is the other one.
Right.
Wait,
So
who's the other one that got away?
The one with the boy that worshipped her.
in season 1, yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Like they run that little hospital or like little nursery.
I remember.
So with that said, she has the potential. She's just, she's naive in using her abilities and whatnot.
And that's because she gets no training whatsoever. She's always stuck in that box.
Right. Of course.
Like for the first 6 episodes, she was stuck in that box for 5 episodes.
We did not see her until like episode 5. Like
Right,
I was wondering where she was.
Yes, during that fight, I was like, "Where's Nezuko?" I'm like,
"No,
watching Nezuko."
Think about it in the manga perspective. In the manga, that's the equivalent of not seeing the girl that's probably on the cover of the manga for like probably half a year.
Yeah, no, yeah. If it's a weekly, I think it's a weekly series. So
it has to be, and I don't think she fought in the Mugen Train arc either. So
she had one thing. I can't remember. Everybody was asleep, and she was the only one that woke up. No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
She was inside the train.
Yeah, and she was getting cut apart, but now
But she did work.
She did work. She did.
Yeah.
Which what's her demon art?
I was just about to say.
Explodes?
Yeah, it's explosive blood. And I was like, man,
okay.
I guess she doesn't know how to. She hasn't perfected it, because I was like, where is that? And then I was thinking about like the last time she used it. I think it was only on the spider dude.
Yeah,
it was only on the spider dude, and it was just kind of, I guess, ass pulled in a way, but I don't want to say ass pulled because like I remember seeing that scene. I remember seeing that scene and saying, "Oh wow, that's cool. How does she do that?" And
they all have an art.
They do. But and I was waiting for her to reveal hers, but I'm like, when I saw her do it, I was like, did I miss something like in the last couple episodes where she developed this, or did she just awaken it right here?
Awaken, more like awaken.
Awaken, okay.
But more like a sense of like when Sasuke first awakened his Sharingan for the first time against Haku, but still got his ass whooped. So he needs some practice. And actually, now that I think about like symbolically, Nezuko had that thing in her mouth for.
What is that thing, by the way? I meant to ask that.
It's a muzzle. It's like a muzzle.
Yeah.
To prevent her.
She can't just do this.
She can, but I don't think she has like
the
consciousness.
Kind of like right. You know how like a dog has a muzzle, right? Like the dog can just,
all she has to do is open her mouth and it will fall off. Like
it's there by choice.
Yeah, I think part of her does bite down on it enough so she's not tempted to like eat blood or something. But the moment she cracks that thing, it's like
character development.
Yeah, she's now like fully realized, as if that was like a mental block on her demon, like real form.
And she grew on horn, so we know
that's not the only thing she grew.
That's not the only thing she grew.
They made a point to show
it. They really
like,
emphasized it. They did. You're right.
Yeah, they did.
Like, good God.
No, to be fair, from what I understand, like there was supposed to be a time skip after the Mugen arc. So I guess you could argue that
it's like a couple months.
Well, yeah, you could tell there's a time skip because they go back to that. The butterfly. She's a Hashira too, right?
Which one?
The insect girl, right?
Oh
no,
yes.
Yeah, she's a butterfly. The poison.
Well, the older one.
Yeah.
Not the quiet one.
Oh, so the oldest one is not there, right?
No, she's not. She's out of the mission.
Okay, so these are all her subordinates, no?
Yeah, the quiet one is supposed to be a trainee to become an Ashira. Okay. And then the other one, the one with the blue eyes, the big blue eyes, she tried to become a demon slayer, but she couldn't make it. She was too afraid or something.
Are you talking about the tsundere girl?
Yeah, because there's 2 girls there with like the butterfly. Apart from the triplets, there's only 2 other girls there. There's the quiet girl, and they all have the butterfly on their hair to show that they're part of that family in a way. So the quiet girl, she is a trainee to become an Ashira, and the other one, the one with the blue eyes, the big blue eyes, the one that was gonna get kidnapped, by the actor.
Tengen.
Tengen
Yeah.
slapped her ass for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Because Japanese animators are pervs for some reason.
Honestly, that would never roll in America. If that was an
Hell
American
no.
animated, and I know people went off on Twitter because of the polygamy in that show.
Oh, right.
Oh my
but
God. Do we want
I
to talk
guess-
about it?
Well, I
I mean-
couldn't tell if it was like legit or
It's legit.
If anything
polygamy.
happened on
They-
Twitter, it's not legit. People on Twitter stay in their own goddamn bubble. So it's an echo chamber. So they only follow people they agree with. So if enough people in that echo chamber make noise, other people walking down by them are gonna hear and just say, oh, and keep moving past. So whatever polygamy issue that they did have, it only stood on Twitter, nowhere else. Because I haven't seen it anywhere else.
I haven't seen it either.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. It's
yeah, it's kind of just
interesting.
whatever.
You don't see it that much. I mean, Mormons in America can still practice polygamy, I think, in certain states. If I don't know, maybe
That
I
makes
have
sense.
no
Legal.
idea.
It might be within the community where it's not, from what I know, in the community, it might not be punished, but I don't think it's really legal. Or they don't call themselves, they're not legally married to the person. They're just partners.
right.
And you can't arrest somebody for having 3 girlfriends in their house, but they can't marry all 3 people.
Right.
But
I mean, I don't see a problem with it, I guess, in the context of the show. It's kind of like, oh, okay, he has 3 wives and that's it. Aren't they all ninjas or only one of
Kunoichi.
ninja?
They're all
Kunoichi.
ninjas.
Okay. I mean, that's, I guess, interesting that he has that about him. Aside from that, I really don't know why he's called the Sound Hashira, aside from being very quiet when he runs and he can detect sound.
He hasn't fought yet.
He hasn't fought. No, yeah, he hasn't fought
Yeah,
yet. Maybe
that's why.
he'll use sound-based attacks when he fights this new demon. What were we gonna say?
I mean, there might be another, moon person, Kazuki, that shows up, because at this rate, they're handling it. And
Yeah, and that's
they
what I
are.
said earlier. Yeah, there has to be somebody else that shows up.
I mean, if they want to showcase this dude's abilities, because right now Nezuko, Tanjiro was about to win and he blew it.
Hino Kami Kagura.
He blew it.
He just
blew
stopped.
it.
He stopped midway, just like that.
He
Naruto
stopped
character.
midway. Honestly, I want to know if he could have done it at that point.
He could have
Like,
done it.
yes,
he was
he-
winning.
He could have killed the number 6. I can't accept that.
You see,
Like-
that's my issue. That's my issue. And bear in
He
mind, this is-
literally he bridged the gap from being what
A rank 4.
a rank 4 with I don't know what the official name is, but because they established it with Inosuke when he explained to Tanjiro what rank they are in
Right.
the Demon Slayer Corps. They're the same rank as the quiet girl, the one that's
no, they're a rank below her.
No. I mean that's what I mean, like a rank right below her.
They're the same rank with that other guy who I think was at their.
the
spider.
the NPC guy.
It was the spider NP, the guy during the spider arc. And
Yeah.
So for Tanjiro to go from that, skip all the way up to Hashira level and almost kill, and part of it could just also be this demon's letting her guard down. It's a mix of a little bit of both, right? Because she's not expecting this guy to even really do any damage to her.
But even then, the
And
fact that he
then-
was able to pull off those moves while he was injured, they made a point saying
Right.
that he was suffering from 100-degree fever, and he claimed, "When I am sick, I'm stronger." For God's sake, man, this is a sick boy. He has a handicap. And somehow, what happened when he's actually mastered the sun breath crap that
He
they
will be the
pull
most
out?
powerful Hashira in all of existence.
Yes. All he has to do is breathe in somebody and they're gonna burn up. Poof.
Which
Like,
makes me
this-
wonder, why can't someone just learn that style as well? Like, if assuming Tanjiro learns it like properly,
There's
Can't he
probably
just
you
teach it?
training to learn it. It's probably something that's passed on family to family
in
or
the
teacher to
bloodline.
teacher. Because remember, he learned it from looking at his dad. Because the dad used to practice the dance in the middle
Yeah.
of the forest. And for
Right.
some reason, the dad is MIA, which I'm assuming the dad is gonna appear. I don't think the dad is dead.
I think
That's
they
just
said
me.
the dad is dead, but I mean,
I didn't see any
knowing-
funerals, and I didn't see any graves. So by anime logic, the dad might not be dead.
He just left. He's a typical anime father.
I don't think I don't think we have confirmation, right? Only the brothers and sisters and the mom were there.
Exactly. Like the family, the dad he's way too powerful. He comes from a family that's supposed to be way too powerful. The dad is way too powerful to have just been killed by a random demon. And even if he was sick, like, I don't know. I feel like it's too...
I mean, when you say random demon, so what? When Tanjiro got his Sharingan, power up or whatever, he was the demon. She was getting like flashbacks of memories that were not hers, and she established those were Muzen's.
Right. Oh, the cells, right.
The cells in her body. And I mean, the person she was seeing, she's like, oh my God, the way he's moving that sword, what he's saying is the silhouette looked like
Tanjiro's dad.
No, it was the dad. Come on. Like he had the little scar on the top left of his head. That the scar, like, the family mark on top of his forehead. So
then at that point, we're talking about how shonen like this series is starting to be as we keep going further in. Is that like a cop out, or like just are we cool with those types of tropes where it's like, oh yeah, you're actually descended from like the greatest warrior, or
it's expected. It's just expected at this point.
It's kind of like what I said earlier about the New York style pizza. I'm not expecting Shakespearean writing in Demon Slayer, but I'm still having fun like watching it. Of course, Tanjiro is from a long line of descendants that are likely the most powerful.
On those little dances he did outside by the campfire, those are actually techniques.
Who would have known that's the most powerful dance of the swords for Demon Slayers, the sword dances. I mean, it's whatever. I take it with stride and I have fun watching it. And I think part of that might be kind of like what you were saying earlier. It might be the animation and the way the anime presents itself, telling that side of the story. For all I know, if I was reading the manga, which by the way, no one here reads the manga, they just watch the anime. I can tell you now, if I was probably reading the manga, I probably wouldn't be a fan of the series. I mean, maybe I don't know. I know the manga was hitting numbers even before the anime. Like people were praising the series, but then it blew up even more once the anime came out because it was the anime. The anime was just, it looked so much better.
Yeah, I'd probably like to read a chapter just to see how it's portrayed in 2D and drawn form, because like I want to see if it truly, like if you could look at it, you could see where the inspiration for the animation comes from, because that's why I don't read My Hero, because I really like what they do with their animation too. It's top notch. And shoot, Attack on Titan, reading versus watching as far as the action sequences, completely different. However, I still enjoyed. Say again.
Tokyo Ghoul was the same thing. The manga was unbearable.
Oh my God.
But the anime was top notch because it made sense. But I could not read it just because it's not in color. I do know that the Koreans and the Chinese, when they write their comics, it's in color, unlike the Japanese comics. And I feel like one of the selling points of this anime is the color and how colorful it is.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, when they're doing the sword movement in the manga, all of it will be white and black. There will be no difference between the flame and the water. Zero. So I cannot go read it unless like an independent person went out of their way, because I know people do that, because I know like illegal translator, they do color and mangas that were like in black and white, and we do that. That's something I've seen just by going online. But like, unless they did this and it was completely in color, then I would read it. But if it's not in color, no, thank you.
Not for you.
Yeah.
I mean that's fair enough. Do you guys what do you think is going on with Nezuko? Is it that bloodline kicking in? Is that why she's getting OP? Or
You think bloodline, it like her family
Like,
bloodline on
her-
top of being a demon?
on top of
Yeah.
being a demon, because she's 1v1ing an upper six.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to rationalize it to think,
I-
how does she bridge the gap that quickly?
It's that, dude. It's just that. The only thing we can hope for is she doesn't revert back to her less intelligent form, that she actually matures. Because the other demons are not idiots. Like, they're intelligent after turning into demons. So I'm hoping this is her, like, her brain. I hope her brain start working, you know? And she started like acting like a regular person. Let's just go with that. That's all I can say. Because her acting like a dog every single second, and her being in the cage, like, I mean, in the box, it doesn't serve any purpose to the story. It's not interesting to me anyway. I think it's pretty boring of a character, that all she is like practically a dog on leash. And once in a while, you let go of the leash and she goes for the throat of the person, kills them, and then go back into a cage. That's not fun. I hope it's character development.
I think I disagree because
Ooh.
I said
You
this,
like the muzzle?
no, no, I don't believe in muzzling anybody. But when we were talking about Boba Fett, how there's like little to no dialogue with the Tuskens, I like when there are characters or scenes that require little to no dialogue, and it's just all represented through action and whatever emotions are displayed. So I like that for Nezuko. Simply, like in the beginning, like when that one demon, the Hashira was about to kill or knock out Tanjiro, and she was protecting him. That said a lot. That said, her humanity is still in there somewhere. I don't know why she can't communicate like other demons. And again, I think it's the whole, she resists, but granted, then there's that other demon who resists.
That is perfectly fine.
Right, who is perfectly capable of verbal communication. But she has intelligence still there. It hardly ever shows, because it's like, well, she has to be in the box during the daytime. And then
you see, why is the brother training with her at night? They could have done something where she started training at night. Like, it's implied that she's always in that goddamn.
He doesn't know how to train a demon. How do you train a demon? He's a demon
slayer. He knows
slayer.
the way of the sword. That's all he knows.
I mean, They could have done something, like, and that's what I hate. Like, there's no interaction between them. Like we said, we barely see this character, and that's why it's so difficult to see her be powerful, because there's nothing to show that she deserves to be powerful.
Right, I can agree with that.
Yeah, the other characters, they show the training that they've been training for months. Now they have like 8 packs, and even like the blonde kid, like, he's super strong. Like, you're like, oh, it makes sense that the guy's stronger. They were training, and they were at that butterfly mention for a while, so they had proper trainers. But her, as far as we know, she's been in that little kid form in that box the last half a year, not doing anything.
So yeah, because I think they were at the butterfly mansion for, I think they confirmed, like 3 or 4 months.
Exactly. And now she has to come out of a cocoon, and she grew.
Well, see, that's a beautiful metaphor, the cocoon.
Yeah, she didn't grow wings.
She didn't grow wings. She grew something
grew a
else.
pair or something.
but that's
it.
Well, when you think about it, though, the times where we have seen Nezuko like make strides in her power have been when Tanjiro's on the verge of death from the hands of somebody.
That man is always on the verge of death.
Right, but like with the spider dude,
not always.
With the spider dude, that's when her blood art kicked in, and now he's got that giant gash, and he was about to win, and boom, shows up.
I liked her entrance.
I loved her entrance too, because I didn't even know what the fuck happened.
Because we forgot about it.
I thought Tengen came in. I was like, oh, it's Tengen.
Yeah, I thought it was. Well, I did forget about it, right? And that's what I like, is that the show knows Nezuko's there, and I feel they purposely do that too, to wow you and give you that ick factor that all these demon slayers are training to be Hashira and all that. But really, the most powerful being right now is the one demon, or one of 2 demons, who refuse Muzan or resistant and are still growing as a demon. And bam, she comes and knocks off like a third of her face.
Which is crazy. That could have been a kill.
Yeah,
Right.
That could have been a kill.
Oh my god.
If she had trained.
Well, okay, and there's the other
Well,
thing. We only know of 2 demons who resist Muzan.
there could be more.
There could be more.
more.
Maybe there's one. Maybe that's all Nezuko needs is a mentor. But you know,
Right.
A demon slayer can't mentor a demon. They don't know nothing. You know,
Exactly.
as far as they don't know how to, take care of those abilities and make them grow.
She needs to go back to that lady.
She could go back to that lady.
She could. Did she have a power? Did she?
I don't remember if she did, but it's implied that she has. Every demon has a power.
I think she was able to make a pocket dimension. No, wasn't her little home? Oh no, that's a different arc.
No,
Never
that
mind.
was the drum one, right?
No, the drum guy, he would turn the whole house.
The house, yeah, he was
upside
able to turn
Okay.
the house upside down.
down. Right.
Okay.
No, there was another demon who can like suck them into the underground. Not the underground, just some whatever. If that lady has a power, I can't remember it. So yeah, but yeah, maybe she should be the one teaching Nezuko stuff. And showing
Was she
her.
able to do the thing with the blood? That's why she needed the blood.
Oh, you cut off Toasty. You muted yourself.
Toasty, you're muted. There you go.
Oh, my bad. As I was saying, what I was saying is, wasn't her power the thing with the blood? That's why he was capturing the blood early on.
I wish I knew her name.
No, because remember, that was the point. He was capturing the blood from the upper 12 to cure the sister.
But I don't remember if that was her power or that was just something she was trying to figure out. Like,
What
she
about-
was like a smart person,
Oh.
so she.
Oh right. Oh okay. I'm
What
looking
about
it
what
up
you
right
mentioned with the house? Like, she was able to keep the house hidden using
Yes.
some kind of shadow clone. I mean, not shadow clone, but like a mirror or like some kind of like, imagery
spell
fog
or
thing.
whatever.
That could be her power.
I mean, it could be. It's kind of lame.
now. Well, remember
Right.
her whole thing. Remember, they're supposed to go get Muzan's blood, and she can like do something with the blood. I think to revert Nezuko back. I think that was the whole thing. They just
That
need-
was
right.
Yeah, and
was the whole
and
thing.
for that they will need to get the blood from that girl, which
Man, I need to rewatch season 1.
No,
I ain't gonna
you-
rewatch it. Maybe I'll go reread those arcs.
Maybe reading it, it'll at least be a new perspective. I guess the last thing to really talk about, like, what do you guys think is gonna happen now? Like, obviously, even though Nezuko is kicking the demon's ass, she's not gonna be the one to kill the demon because Tengen is literally on his way, like, and there's no way that he's just gonna be blasting off trying to catch up to the action, and then when he gets there it's all over, and then we don't get to see what Tengen can do. So
that's because what I mentioned before, most likely there's somebody else. Like there's most likely somebody else, because she is easily able to kill the current demon, and if you have Tengen coming in, there must be somebody else. If not Muzan, there must be another demon in the area that's gonna come in and help her. Or I mean, she's gonna get killed by Nezuko and Tengen. That's it. Unless for some reason Nezuko breaks and turn on the main character, which I doubt. That's not gonna happen.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
Do we think there's gonna be anything where if Tengen shows up, the demon's gonna be like
I already know what you're gonna say.
Swayed by his looks or whatever, because they're making it a point. They made it a point throughout the arc that she does not like ugly people. She doesn't like old people. And they've also made it a point that Tengen is a very beautiful person in the mythos. So if he lets his hair down, is she gonna be swayed like, oh my god, a beautiful demon slayer, slay me, king? Like, what do we think's gonna happen when he gets there?
Dude, honestly, if that happened, I don't know what to say. I wouldn't know what to say. I guess that's the way him and the main character can bond. They have somebody that they want to protect that's a demon, or wants to protect them that's a demon. But honestly, I don't know. It'll be hilarious, but if they do that, the same thing will be a stupid cliche. Like, this girl has done too many bad things to be getting any redemption. Like, it's not like she robbed a couple, like, stores and didn't kill anybody. No, she was killing people for decades, because they made a point when that old lady said, when I was a little girl, this old lady told me there was this Oron that was around. She was beautiful, but she used to be pissed and kill people, or people disappear around her.
Oh, people, no, it was people were committing suicide
around her.
Right.
So she's been doing it for close to 50 plus years. And I mean, from what we can see in that little cave that she had, she was killing people left and right. She was killing a couple people a week. I don't know how this town didn't run out of people, but yeah, she was killing a couple people a week.
Which is crazy, because if she's been around that long, why hasn't the Demon Slayer Corps sent someone in like earlier? Like what was the red flag this time?
Oh, the red flag was his wives disappeared.
But you would have thought somebody else would have disappeared in that area before. They would have.
But didn't.
Well, that's why.
But he sent the wives there because there was suspicion that there were demons there.
No. What was happening was she was covering up everybody's disappearances with those journal entries and those like people's personal stuff, and making it look like suicide. Okay, and so it wasn't until his wives disappeared where he was like, all right, something's wrong. So I think at first he was like, there's too many suicides in this one town where it's supposed to be like pleasure galore.
But then again, it would make sense. The prostitute were committing suicide.
Yeah,
so
either
most people
way.
who heard that prostitute were committing suicide probably didn't even blink, because you're like, oh, prostitute committed suicide. Obviously, she wasn't in the best situation in her life. So especially since this is more forceful prostitution than willing prostitution. So obviously something must have happened. And he was also forging those letters. She was forging those letters to say that they were running away with their lovers, which again would make sense if you were a prostitute or a sex slave in a way somewhere and somebody was wanting to take you away.
Right. So when his wives went, he must have seen through that deception, but it wasn't until his wives disappeared or he lost contact where he's like, okay, let's go investigate. And, as a Hashira, I guess your first, go-to thought is, oh, it must be a demon. So.
All right. Well, I guess the state, what?
That was a stupid plan then, because now that we know that his wife had disappeared, his first goal was to take two younger girls with almost zero fighting experience and throw them in the same situation.
Well, there were girls, remember? So he was going to have them investigate.
There were girls, Shira, you could have used. Why don't they team up?
I think the logic was he needed people that were young of age to sell off into the entertainment district and just act as spies. And if they didn't know how to fight, they were not going to engage with whatever suspicion they found. If they found a suspicion, the logic was, as soon as you see something, you come to me and you tell me, and I'll come in and handle it.
This idiot wasn't even doing a good job looking after him. Zenitsu, who is a demon slayer, was captured, and he couldn't even figure it out.
But he called it off right when he learned. He's like, Zenitsu he's not coming, because they were supposed to meet up, and Zenitsu didn't show up, and he's like, you guys need to leave. Like, I'll handle this. I didn't, and he even called it out. He's like, I made a mistake. I should not have brought you three in here. This is clearly out of your league. This is an upper six. That we're dealing with.
Like, they capture your wives that are all trained killers, but
they're not Hashira level, so it could have just been, basic demon that handled them. But I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens next week. They're doing this weird thing where, like, from my understanding, each arc is supposed to be like self-contained in that segment. So like kind of like Mugen Train, right? The Mugen Train anime is called Demon Slayer Mugen Train arc, and it's only 7 episodes. This particular part of season 2 that we're in is called Demon Slayer Entertainment District arc, and in that arc we have 6 episodes so far. So it's possible we only have like maybe 2 to 3 episodes left of this arc, because it looks like we're getting to the climax, which
I doubt it.
You
No,
don't
dude.
think we're at the climax right now?
I think because I didn't think about it before, but the fact, because I didn't think of Tenjin not fighting in this arc yet. The fact that he hasn't fought yet leads me to believe that the girl is not gonna get killed by Nezuko. Either she's gonna do something next episode to blow Nezuko away, and there's gonna be at least 3 to 4 more episodes of them fighting minimum, apart from next week episode.
3 to 4 more episodes of this fight?
I could see that happening because
There's no way.
Dude, I could, and that's what I'm going with my theory that somebody else has to show up. Somebody else has to, because they can't end it next week or in the next couple episodes. What's gonna happen? He gets there, he cuts off her head with Nezuko, and that's it. What kind of fight is this?
I don't want someone else to show up because at that point it's too formulaic.
It's just copy and pasting what Mugen Train did.
But guess what? This is how sadly speaking, we've been speaking about trope and cliche all episode. This manga or anime is full of cliche. The only reason we love it compared to other anime is because the art style and the animation, because of the sword style, and because of the setting. The setting is different enough from other animes that it keeps us interested.
I like the characters too.
I mean,
like,
yeah, the characters, but the characters in a way.
I'm not too low brow where I'm just like, oh, pretty colors and animation.
No,
so
but the
nice.
characters are cliche of things you already like. The main character, we compare him to Deku from My Hero. If you take both of those characters and change them in different world, like you move one to the My Hero and the other one to this world, it's not going to make any goddamn difference in the story at all.
I think this leaves room for them to pull the rug. This could be a win for Nezuko and the Tanjiro and them, and it could be like an arc that just shows the power jump. And we've talked about that. I forgot what we talked about that with, but this is literally the arc that when we talked about Fishman Island. This could just be an arc where it just shows their growth and power scale.
Tenjin did not fight. That's my issue.
But that's the thing. We don't need
sucked.
Tenjin to fight. Tenjin could just fight. Fight another day. He lives to fight another day.
Actually,
in that opening, in the anime opening, it shows a black and white flashback of like what looks like Tengen's past, like of him slaughtering people or a demon slaughtering his family or clan, whatever. Usually when they show a flashback like that, it's because that character is about to unleash hell on whatever he's fighting or whoever he's about to fight. We still haven't seen a flashback yet. So until you see the flashback scene, I want to say the climax is like still I think we're at the high end. We're at the high end of the art.
Let me ask you this. We forgot. What about the other wife? There's a third wife running around we haven't seen yet.
No, we did. We saw
the blonde one and the short hair one, the crybaby.
The long hair one had her hair put up. She was the first one that he rescued, right? The one that remember there was a scene where like he was walking by one of the buildings and then he sees in the corner of his eye that she's like tied up and everything.
Yeah,
that was the long hair wife.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
But ultimately, I don't think the wives are really gonna do anything.
No, they're not that important.
Yeah, they're just there to give some, I guess, character to Tengen. But
right.
I guess we'll see. Any final thoughts on episodes 1 through 6?
And what's
moving onward? Can't wait till next Sunday.
Team Nezuko, come on, finish her. Finish her.
Hopefully she does. Yeah.
Which she grew a horn.
And hopefully they show more of her next week also. Like hopefully she starts speaking. I only a couple words here and there.
I don't know if you guys noticed, she was growing like vines, or not vines.
They look like vines.
Floral patterns on her body.
Yes.
And that's kind of do not all the demons do that, right? Because only the female one had like flowers on her face.
I think it was just to show that this is a brand new Nezuko.
She's just growing.
She got brand new powers.
Right.
Okay.
About to see something. Hopefully we see something.
Other than the kicking.
I like the
than the
kicking. I'm the
I like the
fan of the
kicking.
kicking.
And at least the demon is acknowledging, saying, "Is this all you know how to do? Is this
I
all
know.
you're doing, kicking?" But look at what it's doing.
So they are
Doing
addressing her shortcomings as a demon.
Exactly. I'm telling you, next week she's gonna use the explosive blood, and it's probably gonna be amped up to something crazy now that she's in this new form. Forget Tanjiro and his Orochimaru curse mark having ass. we're team Nezuko. Let's see what she does. But all right. I would say that wraps up this week's episode of the Yonko Table. Anime Sundays. These look like they're going to be pretty fun. Talking about shows like Demon Slayer. So get ready to see these weekly, along with our Book of Boba Fett episodes as well, on our table talks on that. And let us know what you all think in the comments below. You know, we're anime only watchers for this particular series just because the anime is really good. So we don't jump ahead, we don't read ahead. But you know, if you're an anime watcher, let us know what you think. And even if you read the manga, you know, without spoiling it, just, you know, tell us if we're on the right track or not. You know, are we on the money? Are we getting hotter or colder? Let us know what you think in the comments below, wherever you hear this podcast on, because we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, Instagram. If it has social media, you can give us a listen and share us around. But with that concludes this week's episode of the Yonko Table. I'm your Yonko host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonko GrandMasterHoop, and fellow Supernova Toasty, signing off. Take care, everyone.